As the grandson of Holocaust survivors, Kristallnacht has always been a solemn day in our family and a reminder of the dangers that anti-Semitism can lead to. On November 9, 1938, German mobs destroyed synagogues and looted Jewish businesses and homes. Newspapers carried front-page stories and everybody stopped for a moment of silence. But tragically, the world remained silent as the Nazis spread their terror from city to city, country to country, week after week, and month after month, until the anti-Semitism exploded and boiled over. The Nazis followed through their genocidal threat and killed 6 million of our people, including my own great-grandparents and countless relatives. 85 years later, Jews were attacked, murdered, raped, and kidnapped on October 7th in the worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. This time, however, the world didn't respond in silence. As Jews were carted off to Gaza, as babies were burned in ovens and murdered in their cribs, there were people around the world cheering loudly for Hamas and against Israel, who they said deserved it. Why have we not learned the lessons of Kristallnacht? Because the world is looking at the wrong story and looking at this from the wrong perspective. You see, much of the world views Israel's war with Hamas as a political or military issue. But those of us, Jews and Christians, who recognize the God of Israel and the eternal truth of the Bible, see this as a spiritual battle between good and evil. There are 3 important lessons the faith community must learn right now from Kristallnacht. First, Kristallnacht exposed the heart of the evil Nazi enemy. Until that point, many of the world leaders and influential journalists excused Hitler's rhetoric as mere words. Kristallnacht was the turning point when hateful words metastasized into violence and bloodshed. October 7th exposed the hearts of Hamas terrorists and their enablers in the pro-Palestine movement around the world that this is no liberation movement. This is a genocidal threat by radical Islam that has been meticulously planned, generously funded, and covertly organized. We must wake up today and open our eyes to the clear and present danger that radical Islam poses to all Jews and all Christians. Under our noses, Iran has been sponsoring terrorist groups Hamas and Hezbollah, who make no effort to conceal their plan to first destroy the Saturday people, Jews, and then the Sunday people, Christians. Radical Middle Eastern countries like Qatar have been spending billions of dollars buying influence on American college campuses over the last several decades. Have you ever wondered how all of these well-organized pro-Palestine demonstrations have suddenly popped up all over the country? There's nothing organic about it. Foreign funds from Muslim countries have successfully radicalized an entire generation of American students. The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are warning that Hamas and Hezbollah pose a direct threat to America today, especially thanks to the millions of immigrants who have poured across America's southern border. Kristallnacht teaches that we must wake up and recognize when an evil enemy is in our midst. The second lesson of Kristallnacht is that the Jewish people, we belong in the land of Israel, the land that God repeatedly promised to us in the Bible. The Holocaust proves that the Jews are not safe in exile. Quote, "And I will scatter you among the nations, and they will draw a sword after you," warns Leviticus chapter 26. But then God promises, "And I will restore you from the nations, and I will bring you back to the land of Israel, promises Ezekiel chapter 11. In 1948, God performed a series of miracles of biblical proportions in returning the people of Israel to the land of Israel from all four corners of the world. For the Bible to be true, the Jews must dwell securely in Israel. And you don't have to be that devout to get that message. Every single Jew and every single Christian who appreciates the Bible must recognize that God gave Israel to the Jewish people. Fortunately, I am not talking about a small or insignificant group of people. There are Jews in every country, and there are Christians in every city and village and town around the world who recognize the important and special relationship between the Jewish people and our land. 85 years ago, we didn't have millions of Christians who stood with us, who acknowledge along with the Jewish people and affirm the eternal covenant God made to Abraham. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you. Christian nations like the United States of America have been blessed greatly for standing with Israel. All the good and moral countries in the world today stand with Israel, while those who are screaming like maniacs, ripping down posters of kidnapped children, brainwashed by the foreign funds of radical Islam, they will be cursed. If the faith community cares about transmitting our Judeo-Christian values to our next generation, then we Jews and Christians must stand up together in solidarity. The final lesson of Kristallnacht is that evil spreads when good people are silent, which is why we must not remain silent. We are in a spiritual battle of good versus evil, the battle of our lifetime. Every minute of every day has great significance because there is so much that we can be doing now to help Israel and the Jewish people. Not next week, not next month, but now, today. We have all offered up prayer, and most of us have contributed to Israel generously, but we must do more for Israel today. Now is the time, yes, now, to plan your next visit to Israel. Come as soon as possible and show your solidarity. Come and offer your encouragement to the brave young men and women of the Israeli Defense Forces. Come and provide comfort to the Israeli families who are living along the front lines, keeping God's land securely in Jewish hands. Come now and volunteer. Help fix up the bomb shelters that haven't been opened in years. Help pick fruits and vegetables that are literally rotting in fields because there's no workers anymore. Come to Israel now so that one day you can tell your children and grandchildren that when Israel needed you, when Israel was under attack, you got on an airplane and you said, I will go up to Israel. When we hear about Hamas infiltrating our communities, we will wake up. When we hear about Jews and Christians working together in solidarity, we will show up. And when Israel needs her best friends more than ever before, we will go up. We weren't there 85 years ago during Kristallnacht, and we don't know what we would have done then. What we do know is what we, the faith community, are doing today.